Look, what the fuck you got that blicky chain on, nigga?
Look,
take it off.
Look, all of them niggas know I be flexing. I did 15 on my check-ins. Been with time when I'm stepping. Big 38 for the weapon. Woo. All of them niggas know I be flexing. I did 15 on my check-ins. Big 38 for the weapon. We gon' hit him and finish it. Nobody innocent. If you ain't dead, better lay down. All the judge giving sentences. Free on my minutes. All on the island like what now? Folks in the jungle where niggas gon' rumble. I aim at your head, we don't spray ground. We don't shoot 1 or 2, we gon' boom up the room. Back up the child, we gon' spray round. So that's 40 Jody, roll a 40 clip. I bet I make his ass through 40 clips. Chef G, sauce him up. Chef G told me sauce him up. Fuck Kiki, tell Shannon he can suck a dick. Bullets leaving him sleepy like hollow. One in the head if a nigga won't follow. Only respect you because your brother. People punch you when you caught your mother. That's what brothers do for one another. That's the only reason I ain't put you under. That double G will make a nigga cry. Looking big Kiki till a nigga high. I can shoot your face cause these bitches lie. And that's how I cover my niggas die. Yeah, I'm big on that too. Woo. I posted on the lens, I be forcing. Belly truck when I'm sliding, my bitch is exotic. My hands off the wheel when I'm parking. James told me get the cash. I'm married to denims, don't ask what it costs. He gave name to the course if he SRK. Let's talk about it if you feel away. Nigga, everything cake. Big 24, don't call me bluff. Keep down the...
What's good, guys? We're going to be breaking down the entire main event for Edson Barboza versus Laurent Murphy. Let's just get to the fight night. Sorry, guys. Edson Barboza versus Laurent Murphy taking place this Saturday. We have Edson Barboza with a record of 24-11-0 with Laurent Murphy, who is undefeated. You know, many people look at him as a prospect, but we have a pretty... It's a little lackluster compared to last Saturday's card. St. Louis was amazing. Derek Lewis by knockout, first, second, and third round hit. And, you know, other than Mateus Rebecki losing, I still feel like Mateus Rebecki is still pretty good. We had Robeles de España. He lost to Waldo Acosta. That was a pretty bad prediction on my end. I thought Robeles was going to knock him out. But Acosta ended up wrestling him. I had a record of 7-5 last Saturday. So we look at how this Saturday plays out, and we're going to be breaking down the early prelims, ending with the main event. Let's start off with the first fight of the night. We have a lot of women fights on this card. So a lot of people are not going to be paying attention, but I always pay attention to every single card because you never know what you're going to get. Emily Ducote versus Vanessa Demopoulos. We have Emily Ducote with a record of 13-8-0 versus Vanessa Demopoulos with a record of 10-5-0. All of Demopoulos' losses have come by decision. She has never been finished. She has a finishing rate of 50%. And in her last 5, she's lost 1 to Karolina Karolejczyk, who is not a bad loss at all. And in Emily Ducote's last 5, she's lost to Angela Hill, who's fighting on this card as well, and Lupita Godinez, who I consider a strawweight prospect. She is a minus 275 on Emily Ducote's side, plus 220 on Vanessa Demopoulos. 35 years old for Vanessa, 30 years old for Emily. Strawweight division, 5'2", 5'2", 6'3" to 6 to 59-inch reach. I'm going to be going Emily. It's going to be my early pick. I don't really like how the odds are minus 275. If you look at Tapology has Demopoulos to win by decision. And I don't know if that has to do with, you know, how she looks or if she's actually that good. I've seen Vanessa Demopoulos. She's a grappler. She's pretty good. She's very well-rounded, but I think that Emily's a little bit younger. She's a little bit sharper, and she's more fundamentally sound. Every Friday, I do a last-minute prediction video where I discuss my last-minute predictions facing off and how the fighters look on the scales. So pay attention for that. But for now, I'm going Emily Ducote to win by decision. I know Tapology has Vanessa to win, so pay attention to that. Maybe the odds drop and Vanessa ends up being a favorite, but I doubt that. I think Emily's going to be a massive favorite. She's just going to grow as the week goes on. Next fight, we have Alatengheili versus Kleydson Rodrigues. Guys, this is a pretty good fight. You know, also, we have Road to UFC. So we have 2 UFC events. Road to UFC, I don't know what day it is, but pay attention for that because Road to UFC is basically a tournament where the UFC, they're not UFC fighters yet, but the person who's winning the tournament or who ends up on top ends up making their debut. And usually these are a lot of prospects like Taisu Taira, who got his fight rescheduled with Joshua Van. Now he's going to be fighting... he's going to be fighting somebody else. But it's crazy because we have a lot of prospects for that. But Alatengheili versus Kleydson Rodrigues. We have him with a record of 16-9-2. His opponent Rodrigues has a record of 18-3-0. In his last 5, Rodrigues has lost 2 out of his last 5. 2 of those losses being to CJ Vergara and Farid Basharat, who's a very good wrestler, but he got his first loss. Farid Basharat got his first loss to the Ariel Helwani lookalike. Alatengheili has went to a draw with Gustavo Lopez, lost to Casey Kenny by decision, and Chris Gutierrez by decision. He made a little bit of a mistake shooting in the 3rd round. His fight IQ is not there at all. He's a plus 150 underdog, minus 185 for the Brazilian favorite, Rodrigues. China versus Brazil, 32 years old to 28, 135 to 135, bantamweight division, 5'5", 5'5", 66 to 67. Give me Kleydson Rodrigues to win this by unanimous decision. A lot of people might think that Rodrigues is going to KO him, but the Mongolian Knight is tough, man. He's very tough, and I don't really see him getting finished. He hasn't gotten finished in his last 5, and he's always there to fight, and he's there to scrap for 15 minutes. So give me Kleydson Rodrigues. It's like almost even on Tapology, but I'm going Kleydson Rodrigues just because I think he has a little bit more power. I think he's stronger, and he's younger. So give me Kleydson Rodrigues to win by unanimous decision. Next fight, we have Piera Rodrigues versus Ariane Carnelossi. Guys, buckle up because we got 3 women MMA fights right after this. We have this one and 2 more. We got Piera Rodrigues with a record of 9-1-0. In her last 5, she lost 1 to Gillian Robertson. Submission armbar. Gillian Robertson is a beast. Ariane Carnelossi has a record of 14-3-0. She has lost her last 2 out of her last 5 to Lupita Godinez and Angela Hill. She got KO'd. Well, technically doctor stoppage because of a cut. Minus 175 for Piera Rodrigues. Plus 145 for Ariane. Venezuela versus Brazil. 31 years old to 31. Strawweight division. 5'3", to 5'2". 63-inch reach to 61. Give me Piera Rodrigues to win this. She could finish her, but if she finishes her, I don't think it's by submission. I really don't. I know she's gonna grapple and stuff, but I think she's gonna win this by decision. Another boring decision. That's why a lot of people are saying this card is not as exciting because we had St. Louis, we had Nicolau versus Perez. A lot of those cards may seem better than this on paper, but the main event is worth it. So right here, I'm going Piera Rodrigues to win by unanimous decision. 29-28, 30-27. Just because Ariane is not one of the best strawweight fighters, and she's on the decline. Give me Rodrigues by decision. Tapology agrees. Let's go up the card. Abus Magomedov versus Warlley Alves. Warlley Alves is the only guy to submit Colby Covington, and he's lost to Alaskarov, and he's lost 4 out of his last 5. He has a record of 14-7-0. Abus Magomedov lost to Sheen Strickland, and he lost to Kyle Barala by decision unanimous. Abus Magomedov is one of those guys where we were very high when he came into the UFC. He's a minus 250 favorite. Warlley Alves is a plus 205. Guys, 33 years old. They're both 33. Middleweight division, 6'2 to 5'11, 78 to 72. Give me Abus Magomedov to win this by KO. I think he KOs Warlley Alves. Warlley Alves has been KO'd in his last all of his losses, other than Randy Brown, who submitted him. He lost to Jeremiah Wells. He got out grappled there. Nicholas Dalby. And he lost to Ikram Alaskarov by KO. Give me Abus Magomedov to KO him inside the first round. If it's not the first, it's the second. And I'm not blindly tailing this. I'm going to be going for the over 1.5 just because I want to see what it's at. But I think he finishes him. I think Abus finishes him by KO. And I'm not just agreeing with Tapology. I actually think Abus is going to throw teeps to the body, hooks over the top, left hook, fundamentally, leg kicks better. He's faster on the outside, faster moving in. And I think he's going to be too much for Warlley Alves. And this is a step up just for him to get a win because he lost his last 2. Then we got Tamires Vidal versus Melissa Gatto. Melissa Gatto is one of the biggest favorites on the card at a minus 410. That's way too big of a favorite. She has a record of 8-2-2. So 2 draws, 2 losses, and 8 wins. Her opponent, Vidal, has a record of 7-2-0. She lost her 1 out of her last 5 to Montserrat Rendon by a split decision. Melissa Gatto has lost her last 2 out of her last 5 to Ariane Lipski and Tracy Cortez by decision. She got out grappled against Tracy Cortez really bad. plus 300 for Vidal, and minus 410 for Melissa Gatto, 28 years old to 25, bantamweight. I don't know if she's see, this is where I have a little bit of trouble. I believe this is going to take place at flyweight, but we'll see. 5'6" to 5'5", 68-inch reach to 69. Guys, if you look at this fight, Vidal is that person who has the nuclear option, and we just have to see if Melissa Gatto can get it to the ground. I like seeing stuff like this. I know a lot of people aren't going to like it because they're not sure, but you know it's going to go to decision. This fight's definitely going the distance, and Tapology has it 50-50. 93% have her to win by decision, and some people have Melissa Gatto by submission. I hate picking a minus 410 favorite, but I'm going to go with Melissa Gatto just because she has the grappling department, and if Vidal is not able to get up and she looks like a fish out of water, Melissa Gatto is just going to lay down on top of her for 15 minutes. And Melissa Gatto has done it before. And if she's able to grapple with Tracy Cortez and, lose by decision, she's able to hang in with her, I think Melissa Gatto can win this, but I will keep a close eye on the odds, and I might make a pick flip on Friday, just because Vidal has that power. But we have to understand that it's all up to whether Vidal gets taken down or not. So I'm going Melissa Gatto, but I hate picking 410 favorite. I hate that. Then we have Oumar versus Antonio Trócoli. Guys, this is going to be a great fight. Antonio Trócoli with a record of 12-3-0. His opponent, Oumar, has a record of 9-0. He's undefeated. He is a minus 250 favorite from France, plus 200 for Trócoli, 28 years old to 33. 206 to 200. This is light heavyweight division, so this is another prospect, kind of like Robelis of Spain. So a lot of people aren't going to be as willing to jump on this hype train just because of what happened with Robelis. I like this fight. I just like this fight because he's making his UFC debut, and we get to see, more prospects in the light heavyweight division. His opponent Trócoli has been very inactive. He hasn't fought in 2 years and 5 months. He's also making his debut. He's fought on Dana White Contender Series, but I think it was a no contest. It says no contest there, and then he lost to Marcelo Barboza. Guys, I'm going to be taking Oumar just because I know this is going to be very, very tricky, and a lot of people are going to be very questionable about this pick, but I'm taking Oumar, the prospect from France, just because I've seen a lot of his footage, and he's very, very good from range, distance, striking. The team that he comes from, Bulgarian top team, is a very good team, and I think he's going to knock out Antonio Trócoli, and I think this is going to be a successful debut. Oumar for the KO, rounds 1, 2, or 3. I don't know too much. He starts very fast, but I don't know too much about Antonio Trócoli, so I'm going second round KO. Give me Oumar by second round KO. And let's see what Tapology says. A lot of people have Oumar by decision too. I didn't expect that. But I'm going Oumar by second round KO. It's gonna be a pretty good card, man. I have faith. We're opening up the prelims still. Tim Nolan versus Victor Martinez. Tim Nolan is a guy who lost hype in his last fight when he lost to Nicholas Mota by KO. A lot of people were very high on Tom Nolan because he had a very good streak when he was coming in. He looked good on Dana White's Contender Series, but when he made his UFC debut, he lost. Fighters tend to win at a 30% clip when they're fighting in the UFC debut. Victor Martinez has a record of 13-5-0. Tom Nolan with a record of 6-1-0. He's lost his last 1 out of his last 5. Same thing with Victor Martinez. He lost to Jordan Levitt by KO, which is actually very, very, very sad. Because if you're losing to a guy who's twerking with no KO power, bro, what are you doing in the UFC? Minus 450 for Tom Nolan. One of the biggest favorites on the card. I hate seeing a minus 450. Plus 340 for Victor Martinez. Who am I to talk about Victor Martinez because I don't step into the UFC octagon? But we have 24 years old to 32. That's the only thing that can be detrimental to Tom Nolan, how young he is. Lightweight division, 6'3", 73-inch reach for Tom Nolan, 5'8", 70-inch reach for Victor Martinez. I'm going Tom Nolan, and I think he finishes Victor Martinez inside the distance. I just want to see what Tapology has. We have 9% picking Martinez and 91% picking Tom Nolan to win this fight. 84 are picking Tom Nolan by KO. I think he KOs him, but I know a guy like Victor Martinez, a lot of people are going to be betting the under 2.5, and it turns out that a guy like Victor Martinez ends up going the full 15 minutes. So I would just take Tom Nolan at a minus 450. I know it's terrible. That's why a lot of people are going to skip this card because the odds are terrible, but that does not mean that it's over. There's always potential for every card, and I think this fight opening up the main card is a potential to make a decent amount of money. Angela Hill versus Luana Pinheiro. These odds are dead even. Guys, let me just make my last prediction clear. I'm going Tom Nolan. I'm going to skip that fight, though. I'm going Tom Nolan, but I'm skipping the minus 450. Angela Hill versus Luana Pinheiro. Sorry. Angela Hill with a record of 16-13-0. Her last 5, she's lost 2 out of her last 5 to Mackenzie Dern and Verona Jardiroba. Guys, one of the prettiest women in UFC, Verona. Luana Pinheiro lost to Amanda Ribas. She was winning the 3rd round, taking Amanda Ribas down, but she let Amanda Ribas get up, and she got a spinning wheel kick to the face and got finished. So no shame in that. Amanda Ribas went toe-to-toe with Rose Namajunas. No shame in that. Luana Pinheiro plus 130 underdog, which is very surprising. Angela Overkill Hill minus 160. She's just going to keep growing as a dog. She comes from New York City, New York. 39 years old to 30. Strawweight division 5'3" to 5'4", 64 inches to 62. Guys, this is one of those fights where it's dead even, and you could definitely capitalize on a live bet. I'm going Luana Pinheiro just because I think that she did very good against Amanda Ribas. A lot of people are going to have a lot of recency bias, and they're going to choose Angela Hill because she's coming off of a win, and, because a lot of people think that she's a better striker than Luana. But I think Luana's going to come into her own, and I have a big feeling that Luana's going to look good in the kicks. She's going to mix in a takedown. She's not going to be able to hold Angela Hill down, because if she wasn't able to hold Amanda Ribas, you're not going to be able to hold Angela Hill down. But I think she's going to be better with the kicks, the teep kick to the body, round kick to the body. I think she's going to be better overall. I just know that this definitely goes over 2.5, and I'll take Luana Pinheiro. Luana Pinheiro. I'll take Luana Pinheiro to win by decision. Most of the Tapology is going with me. 89% are picking her to win by decision. 4% are picking her to win by KO. And 38% of people are picking Angela Hill to win by decision. This fight definitely goes the distance. If you get a little bit more juice on that and you feel safer on that, you go that. But I'm going Luana. I'll take the dog. Give me my first underdog pick of the night. Even though I think that there might be another underdog that wins. Let's open up. Keep going forward. Adrian Yanez versus Vanessa Salvador. We have Adrian Yanez, who lost to Jonathan Martinez, Jonathan Martinez went toe-to-toe with Jose Aldo, and then he lost to Rob Font by KO. Adrian Yanez, it seems like they're giving him something like Derek Lewis, a silver platter. Here, take your win, bro. Come on, we need you to win. 16-5-0 for Adrian Yanez. And for Salvador, we have 14-6-0. He lost his last 2 to CJ Vera and to Victor Altomariano. Houston, Texas, Adrian Yanez. Brazil for his opponent, 27 years old to 30. 30 years old for Adrian Yanez. Bantamweight division, 5'7" to 5'7", 70-inch reach to 70.5-inch reach. Give me Adrian Yanez to win by KO. I think it's about time that Adrian Yanez wins, man. And if Adrian Yanez is going to win, he's going to win against a guy like this. A guy who has a record of 14-6-0. And it's not just that I'm basing it off of Adrian Yanez is going to win just because of his opponent's record. I think Adrian Yanez, when he is in his flow state, he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. His leg kicks are there. He lost to Jonathan Martinez and Rob Font, but those are one of the best, top 10 in the UFC bantamweight division. So there's no shame in that. Vinicius Salvador would have done a way worse job, and MMA math doesn't always work. But give me Adrian Yanez to win by KO. I know this was a little bit of a shorter breakdown. It's just that he's a minus 350, and I've seen a lot of tape on Vinicius Salvador, and he is not a prospect, especially in the bantamweight division, one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC. I think it is the most stacked division in the UFC. Give me Adrian Yanez to win by KO. Tapology has Yanez by KO as well, 83%. Some people think he might win by decision, but Yanez is too clean, too smooth, too clean on the outside, and too fundamentally sound to lose to a guy like Salvador. This is one of my most confident picks, Adrian Yanez. Just because I know I picked him against Jonathan Martinez, but rightfully so, man. When this guy is in his own, When this guy's on his momentum, when he's rolling like a snowball, he reminds me of Max Holloway the way he's able to piece up some people. And I know that might be a reach, but I really think Adrian Yanez, he can get way better than he is right now. Up the card, we got Ramiz Brahimaj versus Themba Gorimbo. Guys, when we look at this fight, Gorimbo is going to be very high. A lot of people are going to be very high on him because Dwayne The Rock Johnson gave him a house. He's a prospect. This will be his 4th fight in the UFC. His debut, he lost to AJ Fletcher by submission, and he's versing a grappler. This grappler, Ramiz, has a record of 10-4 and 0. Gorimbo has a record of 12-4 and 0. Ramiz, he's lost his last 2 out of his last 5. And he's lost to Court McGee and Max Griffin by KO. Plus 170 for Ramiz, minus 205 for Gorimbo. Guys, 31 years old to 33, welterweight division, 5'10 to 6'1", 73-inch reach to 77. A lot of people are going to have Gorimbo, and they're going to be very high on him. I just think that Ramiz might be able to take him down, and he might be able to hold him there. He's been submitted before. He's a minus 205 favorite. I really like Gorimbo. I like his striking, even though sometimes he gets away with a little bit of his sloppiness in his striking. But when you look at this fight, it's grappler versus striker, and Gorimbo has to pick. He has to keep this fight on the feet, and it sounds cliche and easy, but against a guy like Ramiz, he might be able to take him down once. And if he could take him down once, that might be all he needs. But I like Gorimbo. I like his power. I like the nuclear option, and I think he gets a win in this one. I just have to see how he looks on the scales, and I just have to see how he looks face to face against his opponent Ramiz. If Ramiz looks a little bigger, it says Gorimbo is 6'1", but I think Ramiz might be a little wider. We just have to see. I'm going Gorimbo, but I'm not that confident in this. I just feel like Ramiz is a very good grappler, and I shouldn't think that because if they're feeding him to Gorimbo. But anything is possible in UFC. Give me Gorimbo by decision. I think this fight goes to distance. And I don't think he's able to finish Ramiz. Even though he got KO'd by Max Griffin. And he's been finished before. A lot of people, Tapology, have 89% of Gorimbo to win by KO. Give me Gorimbo to win by decision. Just because I think Ramiz is tough. Up the card, co-main event of the evening, we have Khaos Williams, the Ox Fighter, versus Carlston Harris. Guys, this is another one of those fights where it's grappler versus striker. Khaos Williams, with a record of 14-3 and 0, has been very inactive. His last fight was Rolando Bendoya. He won by split decision. He's been inactive for a whole year. Carlston Harris, last fight was 9 months ago against Jeremiah Wells. He did very good against him, considering Jeremiah Wells is a very good grappler. And against Jared Gooden, he was able to grapple Jared Gooden, even though Jared Gooden came in 6 to 7 pounds heavier, and the commission allowed that fight to go in. Jared Gooden was having some success, but only because he was bigger in weight. Harris was still able to take him down and win by decision, and then he lost to Shavkat, no shame in that, by KO. And then he beat Impa, who is no longer in the UFC, and then Christian Alguera by submission, anaconda choke. He has a very good anaconda choke. Khaos Williams lost to Randy Brown by decision, and then Michel Pereira by decision. If we look at this fight, Khaos Williams is a minus 125, plus 105 for Harris. Detroit, Michigan versus Brazil, 30 years old to 36, welterweight division, 6'0 to 6'0, 77-inch reach to 76, almost identical. I love the co-main event for this fight. Guys, give me Carlston Harris to win by decision. He's been a very good grappler against Jared Gooden, a very good grappler against Jeremiah Wells, and a very good grappler against he has a very good anaconda choke against Christian Arguera. And I think a sub is going to be live if he's able to take on Khaos Williams down to the floor. Khaos Williams is a guy who has that nuclear option. He has insane power. He has KO'd almost all of his, Matthew Semmelsberger, he won by decision. KO'd Miguel Baeza, who a lot of people were very high on. And then Ronaldo, he beat him by decision. Guys, I'm going Harris just because Harris was able to out-wrestle Jared Gooden, who weighed in at 6 to 7 pounds heavier than him. And I know Jared Gooden is not one of the best fighters on this card, or in general, not on this card. But Harris has shown time and time again that he's consistent with his takedowns and he's able to get him. He's able to finish him. So I think he's going to finish him by submission. I can see an anaconda choke. But I'm going to go Harris by decision. 29-28. It might even be split decision if Harris gets dropped in the first round. A lot of people are going Williams by KO. And 64% of Tapology is going Harris by decision. Give me the dog, the plus 105. One of my most confident dogs on the card. Harris to win by decision. 30-27, 29-28, maybe even split. Let's get it, baby. Main event time, Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, the Miracle, has a record of 13-0-0. He's undefeated, has won his last 5. Arguably lost to Gabriel Santos. Decision split. I thought he lost that fight. Edson Barboza Jr. lost his last 2 out of his last 5 to Bryce Mitchell and Giga Chikadze by KO. He won against Billy Cortillo and Sadiq Youssef, and he beat Shane Burgos by KO. Edson Barboza is a beast. He shows time and time again that against Sadiq Youssef, Sadiq Youssef was winning that fight. He got dropped, and Edson Barboza was able to gas out Sadiq Youssef and punish his body and win that by decision. Plus 125 for Edson Barboza, minus 150 for Lerone Murphy. 38 years old, that's the only thing that's maybe detrimental to Edson, his age, but he looks good as new. 32 years old for Lerone Murphy, featherweight division, 5'11 to 5'9, 75 to 73. Guys, this is another fight. It's not grappler versus striker, it's striker versus striker. Lerone Murphy has shown that he can grappler, but I do think he's going to mix it up. He's going to try. But Edson Barboza has fought time and time again. The people like Tony Ferguson, a lot of people say that that's a long time ago, but he's fought time and time again the killers of his division that are climbing up the rankings. And he's been a very good gatekeeper. He's been very good at keeping and holding his own and keeping a UFC contract. Just being 38 years old in one of the most stacked divisions, featherweight, is impressive by itself. Sometimes the hardest fights are fighting the up-and-comer, the new lion, the lion that's trying to take your ranking. And Edson Barboza has shown time and time again that he is here to stay. Lerone Murphy, I thought he lost against Gabriel Santos. He won against Josh Kulabau, which is a very good win. Josh Kulabau went toe-to-toe with Danny Silva. He got dropped by Danny Silva in the first round, and then he KO'd Maquin Americani with his knee, and then Douglas Silva down Gerard's decision, and then KO Ricardo Ramos. I think this goes the distance. I really do. I don't think Lerone Murphy's going to finish Edson Barboza. And for right now, I'm going Edson Barboza to win by unanimous decision. Just because Edson Barboza can go 5 rounds, this will be Lerone Murphy's first 5 rounds. I saw Lerone Murphy get exposed against Gabriel Santos, and it's just a matter of time before he gets his first loss. If it's not to Edson Barboza, it's to somebody else. I don't think he's going to get a title shot if he beats Edson Barboza. He's going to have to fight a couple more times. He has a very clean record, and I know that's why people have him at a minus 150. But every time I see Barboza as a plus 125, I'll take that. I will take that. I just want to see what Tapology has to say. Tapology has Barboza to win by decision. 55% are picking Barboza, 45% are picking Murphy. Majority of people are picking decision, but if there's going to be a finish, it might be on Barboza's side. We just have to take into consideration that Barboza's a little older. But I'm going to go with Barboza, Edson Barboza Jr. to win this by unanimous decision, 49-46, 48-47, 48-47. This might even be a split decision, and they might rob Barboza. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the video, in the description down below. Let me know. Sorry that I'm late uploading this. We got a lot of dogs in the background and stuff. Comment your favorite dog. Comment your most anticipated fight. And comment who you think wins in this main event, guys. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new. You guys have been showing me a ton of love on my videos. I'm going to drop more news videos. I'm going to drop a bunch of new content. Thank you guys for all the love that you guys have been giving me. And God bless you guys. Have a great day and enjoy the fights, guys. See you guys soon. The best is blessed, baby. Peace.